All right, good morning everyone. I made a decision. I couldn't keep the votes under control, so I decided to do the E36. And I need to do a couple little tweaks here before I wash it. You know, the one of the life goals is to not have super dirty cars, but to wash them in a fashion where they get dusty, a little dirty, maybe you went through some rain, but the general goal has always been just keep it maintained. And so this concept of you don't wash dirty cars, well, that's the goal, is to wash cars that are just, you're maintaining, keeping it relatively clean. But anyway, I gotta do a couple little maintenance things here that I figured I'd turn the camera on since I got it all set up. And sometimes I'll take the plate off for this part, but I think I can get a good chunk of this off. So I'm enjoying the E36. The last thing that I need to do is I really need to get the stereo complete. The Porsche Classic head unit is not a really good option. It just doesn't have a lot of output preamp wise for the amplifiers that we put in here. And so the system just sounds weak, lean. And we're having to run too much gain on the amplifiers, which means that then you end up with a really high noise floor. You can hear, at times you can hear a whine, like a ground loop. And so I think we're gonna do the Sony, the one that I had in my Civic, the RSX GS9. There we go. Nice, okay. This registration's been sitting on my front seat for a couple months. Get that taken care of. And then the other thing, which I'll show you here. So these are aftermarket seats. And I got this too, so I'm gonna put this in. This is we made some shift knobs, some racing shift knobs that are gonna be part of the giveaway when we do this car I think we're gonna start in September. The ZCP shift knob doesn't fit very well in the UUC shifter. I generally don't like aftermarket shift knobs, but this thing's pretty cool. It's freaking heavy from racing. So I'm gonna put this collar on and swap out the ZCP knob. But before we do that, these seats are aftermarket. They look somewhat stock, but they're Recaro Speed 5s that we had redone in the anthracite Alcantara to match, and then the M Cross. And so there's a box, a little module that you need to, I guess, airbag sensor light to, tucked it under here. I don't know if I can get it out now. So you need to take, I guess it's a position sensor, and then you need this little defeater module to trick it into thinking that this is the stock seat, and then you just kind of tuck it under here. But then I have to reset the airbag light, so I bought this little generic Amazon piece of crap, and so then I should be able to turn the airbag light off. So I want to do that really quickly. That's under the hood. Okay. So I've got the module plugged in. Here we go. Turn the key on to not start the engine. Plug the tool in, it'll say FA. Use this scroll button. Let's see, how to read airbag faults. This tool automatically starts in FA mode, though it won't read the fault codes until you press enter. When enter is pressed, the first number shown will be the correct code chart to use. If it shows dash dash, there are no codes to display. Printing enter a second time will display the fault code. To view the next fault, pressing enter again. Okay. How to clear, but it is important that you know exactly why the airbag light came on, which we do. Use the scroll button, select CA, press enter. The tool will reset the SRS light and display. If the airbag light does not appear, try it again. Okay, so we turn that on. It's plugged in. Heck yeah, nice. That little janky thing fixed it. No more lights. Yes. That's freaking cool. All right, so let's pull this off. This thing just doesn't fit quite right. And let's do this. That's kind of cool. I'm doing it. So this is a UUC short shifter. And then I have a UUC shift linkage. There's a rod. The shifter feels pretty good. The one thing I don't like is this ZCP shift knob is slightly weighted, but this weighs a whole lot more. You know, it's a little aftermarket-y, but we'll keep this too. Ooh, I'm telling you, I'm not a big aftermarket shift knob kind of guy, but that's pretty freaking sweet. Yeah, it's better. Because this one was moving around. It's like the clip in here doesn't fit the E36 very well. That's cool. We're gonna leave it. All right, let's wash the darn thing. So check it out. That's pretty cool. You know, I think it looks great. Yeah, and then this thing. So this is what I was using. This guy. So you got this old school multi-pin thinger that we're using for doing the coding. And then I got this cheap Amazon looking thingy. It worked, so that's great. All right, let's get everything set up here. I'm gonna do some GSF. Oh, shoot, I need to fill this up. Let's get our foam cannon out here with the new, these are, I think we've sold out of them, but I know we have more coming. We may have them. It'll tell you on the site, but I'm telling you, the new quick disconnect, you want this thing. It's freaking awesome. You definitely want that. All right, so let's get, well, let's use some reset. Why not? I haven't used reset on the car in a while. So I believe reset is slightly acidic. It's a, I might be making that up, but for some reason I thought it had a pH under 7, which is good to use on a coating periodically. You could also use our decon soap. Let's put 150 milliliters in there. I just don't like this soap very much. Put some rando amount of ounces there. We'll fill her up. And I have a cap as well. So if you haven't watched in a while, I finally have my garage fully functioning here with lights, air conditioning. I've got the full pressure washing system, but this is now a dual Krenzel setup. So I have 2 pressure washers. What's better than 1 pressure washer? 2. Oh, I need to swap this as well. So our first aluminum quick disconnect is nice, but I'm telling you, the stainless one is freaking transcendent. It's awesome. So we're gonna take this off. I think I have another one over there. Take this off. I might need some channel locks. So I had the garage coming together here, and then we bought the Helen house in June. All right, and so my tools are in disarray, so I just had to grab what I could get my hands on. But my list of stuff theoretically should be here in a week. We'll see. So we got a slightly extended tube here. So it's slightly longer that comes with the quick disconnect kit. I'll put this on here. And then we'll swap for the stainless version. And because of the mechanism, how it's built, the reason why I didn't do stainless in the beginning is our original design. So Rusty's original design was, it was like almost three times, more than 2 times the cost to do a stainless version. And so now he's completely redesigned how the quick disconnect works. Instead of using the traditional method that like pressure washers use, this mechanism on how it engages is much different. The threads are quite a bit coarser, so I don't have to worry about taping. This won't back out, it kind of locks on. And then same thing here, the threads are coarser, so we don't need any interface, like any Teflon tape or anything, to keep the quick disconnect from backing off. But these are still low volume. Jetta, what's up, Jetta? Yeah, ugh. Get her, Chase, get her, get her. That's the neighbor's dog. Ugh. So, gotta get this off here. Yeah, so I want to say you have to go to the store. We'll put it in the description. I think it's 125 bucks for this quick disconnect. And I'm pretty sure we have them. So as I was saying, my list of cabinets will be here. We're gonna do the Idaho's custom install, like attic mounted version of my vacuum system in here. And I'm hoping to get this done in short order here today. Shoot, the sun's really coming out. I should have gotten moving earlier. So the threads are designed to be coarser here, so that way this doesn't come off. So you can see now it will stay. And since this is stainless, the brake buster theoretically won't jack it all up like it does to the anodized aluminum. Shoot me a message, I'll sell you this one on the cheap. I think I have a couple of them. I think I have another one back at HQ as well. All right. See, I do have 2 of them. One's a little bit beat up. I think this is the newest design. This was the original design. Let's sell them for, I don't know, what do you think, 75 bucks? Yeah, this one's like basically brand new. This one was the original. What's up, Jetta? What's up, Chase? They're 2 buddies. 2 buddies. So, if you're not familiar, hadn't seen this yet, got some Bilthamber stuff. I need to spend the time on dilution ratios and all that stuff. So I'll work on that later. Let's try the wheel cleaner while we're at it. We use this auto wheel. I think it's the normal sodium thioglycolate stuff. We'll try it. Since we're at it, I've been talking with Pete Hamber about the possibility of being an importer for it, but I'm not sure yet. It's just the product really intrigues me. So this is these are 2 K1322s, same pressure washers, and so they're running parallel. So I have the option until we get our Obsessed Garage deionization system up and running. We have the way that this system is set up is that I could run 1 pressure washer, either one I want. I can run 1 pressure washer on the DI by just turning the valve. And but for most of this washing I'm gonna run, or all of this washing today, we might switch to DI because it's so sunny out. but I'm gonna run both pressure washers in parallel, and we got 4.18 gallons per minute, which is pretty freaking cool. So what I do, turn the water on. Both valves are open here on the wall. I could close either one of them and then turn on both machines. The pressure switches both function well. Everything's good. And we have some, so we're gonna sell a system. Like, let's say you had this set up and you wanted to add another one. We can sell a shelf, a couple of jumper hoses, and you could add on, just put another outlet in, and you can get 4.2 gallons a minute. So this combination costs, the pressure washers are what, $1,200 a piece. That's $2,400. The shelves are another $200, so $2,600, and then you'll need some other ancillary parts. So for less than $3,000, especially if you're already invested in one of these, you could get more than double the output, like if you're a professional detailer. And the other advantage of this is that you have redundancy. So if one of these fails, you could still go back to operating at 2 gallons a minute while you're sending it in for service. Or like if I had a detail shop, I would have 3 of them. So I'd have 2 in parallel, and I have the third one. So let's say I need a car, I'm on the crunch, or under a time crunch, I got to get the car done. My pressure washer, needs service or fails or something happens. I could just turn the valve off, run a single pressure washer. I have my third one so that I could swap and get it back to fully operational. Maybe I did that at night or something, or on the weekend, in between, servicing, or in between doing jobs. And then I could send the second one out for service, or I could fix it. Maybe it needs a new seal kit or something like that. And then I could just kind of rotate them, and then have that ability to have a fully functioning system that could run no matter what happens. I mean, if I were doing it for a living, I would work my way toward that. Now, if you're starting out and you're doing cars and you're charging $500 to do a full correction protection, you're not buying this setup. But as you work your way up and as you have more customers, I would start to sort of build out the system if I were you. I'd also probably want some sort of boom pole as well. But those of you in your garage like me, it does, forget the production side of it. It's just freaking cool. You could do it for what, $3,600, $3,700 if you did the big Krenja KWS. Hey! Cut it out. Chase, get over here. Stop fighting. Come here. You guys are friends. You guys are friends. Be friends. Be friends. You guys are good. Good friends. No fighting. No fighting. So, as I was saying, dogs try to kill each other. If you have the means, you already have this set up, we can set you up with the things you would need to add on, so you can just go vertically and have an electrician come put another outlet in, so you have the 2 dedicated 20 amps, and you got yourself a freaking silent system. Where the advantage of this over the $3,500 pressure washer, this actually gets about 1 gallon per minute more and has auto stop. But I want to run this in my garage for a while before we start selling this as a package. I mean, you're already at $3,000 for this setup, so you add another, I don't know, less than 2, so $5,000 for a full setup, versus you're probably more like, I don't know, maybe like $6,000 to do the KWS, because you got the shelves and stuff. So the KWS, the big one, it doesn't turn off, and so it runs for 30 seconds, which is kind of annoying. And then this has more output. So there's some advantages of doing this with the redundancy and all that. And then eventually we'll get rid of the Prevost piping and continue to evolve it and try to make it as modular as possible, because we've sold thousands of these things. I want to say probably 3,000 or 4,000 setups, some iteration of this. And so lots of you have this system, and shoot, if I've sold 3,000 or 4,000, there's probably been 10,000 or 15,000 have been sold from all the copiers and other retailers that that have been selling this stuff too. So the other thing you could do if you screwed up and bought a K1622, which is a stupid pressure washer, you could do two 1622s and then get around 3 gallons a minute. So you could kind of offset your mistake of buying the wrong pressure washer, which would be kind of cool. So anyway, let's get to washing here. All right, let's get to work. I've been piddling around in the garage, which is, you know, my favorite thing to do. So anyway, let's see how we're looking here. Looking a little bright. Let's come off this a bit. Yeah, that's better. Keep the ND filter on. Yeah, let's see. Yeah, that looks good. So let's do this. Let's use this built hammer stuff. I have a feeling I'm not going to like it. I don't like the put the brakes on here. The sodium thioglycolate stuff, I don't really find it necessary because the wheels are coated. So I gotta get a, I forget what size we have, 7.5. Yeah, 7.5. Oh. Watch out. That's some serious juice there. 4.18 gallons per minute. Hey, Chad, cut it out. No. You're gonna get your face blown off. Stop. Chase isn't that dumb. If you're gonna be here, you gotta learn how to wash. Get her, Chase, get her. No, ma'am. Chase, get her out of here. No, get her, Chase. Yep. I don't like it already. I can smell it's the same as all the other stuff. I know most people like this kind of wheel cleaner. It makes you feel good, but I just don't find it necessary. And I want some lubrication. So that's what I like about the heavy alkalinity of the brake buster and the foamability of it. I know the purple stuff makes people happy, but it's just not necessary. I mean, all that purple stuff, all that stuff will come off anyway. Jetta, you're gonna have to get your wash game up here. You don't know what's going on here, do you? Chase is a washing expert. He knows not to mess with it. Where's my wheel mitt? Here it is. Oh boy. Yeah. So Jetta just roams the neighborhood. She comes over to see Chase a couple times a day. What kind of Dumbo we got here, Chase? Yeah, this is the typical wheel cleaner. This stuff works well. You know, like Sonax Perfect or Sonax Full Effect was like the first one, and then there's, what is it, Tugga or something like that that Corey does from Sky's the Limit. And then there's the Magic Wheel Cleaner from Kosh Chemi. They're all pretty much the same. They just have a iron remover in it. You know, if it made you feel better, you could do it once in a while, hit it with some iron remover, but I don't find that necessary. So the plan, I'm liking the E36 a little more. We did the new e-brake. Eb did a new steering rack, so that's done. So instead of $450, it cost me $900 for a steering rack because I had to do it twice because the rack doctor's rack was junk. I like these wheels. I don't know. I think maybe something aftermarket would be cool. You know, we tried to do the E36s, but they really didn't fit. The offsets were just too aggressive, so I punted that idea. I don't know, but I do think this car is gonna go. You know, I would much rather have. I feel like I need to bring it up a little bit in the rear. I feel like I'd rather have a 997 RS than this. It's just a lot of money to be sitting here and not really loving. So the plan is to do a giveaway on this car in September, October. And, you know, I've enjoyed the experience. It is really, 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 after that airbag light, once I get the stereo tuned, then this puppy is legit. Super, super legit. So I got my GD3 Touring, which I love. But notice, you know, I'm not rushing over there right now. I've been a while since I've done a wash and talk. I really wanted to do that. I would do this. Got a couple of dirty cars that I wanted to get clean. So I'm doing my best, as well as I can do as a psychopath, as a crazy person, to just take my time, not worry about getting everything done right this frickin' minute. And I'm gonna polish it. So I haven't even driven it yet. I know you think I'm crazy, but I want to polish it, get the PPF done. I always will focus on getting the G80 complete. The G80 is about to leave here. I'll talk about that in a minute. Yeah, but getting it, you know, taking one thing at a time is my new MO. We'll see how well I can do with that. Probably not very well, but I never really believed in the whole your exhaust breaks in. I mean, they put some, you know, they put the material inside of exhausts, so the Dynon didn't sound as good as the Borla. By the way, I still have the Borla if somebody wants it. But this Dynon is great. So doing things like headers and mid-pipe and all that crap doesn't really do anything for these cars. So, to me, just the nostalgia and the beauty of the Dynon exhaust, it just makes a lot of sense. I really love how it looks. And then it kind of opened up. So I think the car sounds pretty good. The Dynon intake and the Euro headlights that they say you can't do, well, I did it anyway and it works great. So yeah, now it's sitting at an angle here, so it's not quite this low. And I kind of like a little bit of the tucked look on this. The other great thing is that I got the front end sorted. There was too much camber, and so what we did was we switched or flipped the camber plates from left to right. So the left on the right and the right on the left. And now I've got whatever camber I want. It's perfect. It was like -3 was the minimum I could get in its current setup. So I was able to rectify that, which was cool. And the car, I'm telling you, the aftermarket suspension on this car, the Öhlins TTX, is the best iteration of an aftermarket suspension I've ever had. It's just so compliant. It just handles so well, even though it's a, technically a race, a track level suspension. Man, the ride quality, it's just incredible. Like, I've had so many different aftermarket exhausts and nothing like this, where it's just, there's no compromise. It rides so well. It's amazing how much better than stock, and yet how much better it handles. Like, this thing would be a lot of fun on the track with the bigger brakes. If I was gonna do some track driving, I would probably want a bit more aggressive alignment. I'd want to come up in the rear here, get me some more space. But on the street, it's pretty darn incredible. So I was going to be doing a raffle on this now, but I just wasn't ready. It wasn't done. We didn't have all the products done yet. I didn't feel right. I didn't feel complete with the car yet. So, and part of my whole thesis, part of the whole thing is that these cars are built for me. And then, if I decide not to keep it, we do a giveaway. It's like the Helen House is not for rental, it's built for me. And not to be selfish, I'm building it for me, because if I like it, then others probably will too. So although this car is pretty heavily modified, it's not like, and a lot of the modification was to fix like cooling, stuff like that. Fix some of the deficiencies, and of course a lot of OEM replacement stuff. But like suspension, brakes, intake, headlights, a lot of this stuff is pretty heavily modified, but it doesn't look like it. It is a really great car. But I feel good with it. I feel complete. Like, I don't feel like an E36 is for me. And I'm cool with that. Like, I wouldn't care to take this to the mountains, or I wouldn't care to take this, to the track, or I wouldn't even care to take this anywhere. And so, I'm just not a very good collector. We've talked about this in the past. I don't like collecting stuff. Maybe tools, but even then, I just like to organize the stuff. And so I like the process of putting this car together, but I don't really want to just keep it just to keep it. I want it to fill a spot in my ownership experience, but I wanted to have it and own it, but I don't want to just put it on ice and let it sit there. I think as we get older, become less accepting of, become less worried about and less accepting of, well, I'm just doing something because I'm supposed to do it, or maybe other people do it. And I've become much more aware of what it is I really appreciate and what I like. And oftentimes you don't know until you try. And so, like, I don't know if I didn't know if I wanted a G80 unless I tried, and I've tried, and I did it. and I executed, and it didn't work for me. And as you get older, you become less concerned. Now, if you weren't sharing your life like I was, then it'd be easy to do. But you become less concerned with what anybody thinks, and you just keep doing stuff to do it. And then intelligent, rational people understand. You know, they get it. And ones that, you know, maybe have some chip on their shoulder or something like that may not. But, you know, what does that matter? It shouldn't matter to anyone. You know, I kind of pick fights sometimes with people for the sport of it. But in the end, I'm really just trying to figure out what I really like. And deep down in your heart, you kind of know, but, you know, sometimes you got to buy the M5 in order to figure out if the M5's for you or not. And then be okay with saying, you know what, it wasn't or isn't. I think we're still good with the sun here. To just keep washing. All right, let's rinse. Let's get rid of our wheel stuff. Kind of feeling washing 2 cars today. Since I don't have to edit this video today, I'll let the guys edit it for me. I might wash the E92 as well. So, the 997, I'm going to pick it up tomorrow. I got to put the bumper back on, and then I'll be back on that project this coming week. I'm going to do the brakes. I'm going to do the OE shifter. I'm putting that back on it. So the OE shifter is something that I think needs to be done. I don't like that numeric. It's too aftermarket for me. It's just too, I mean, the 997 is already pretty darn aggressive from the get-go. So to add more aggression, it's not really necessary. It kind of makes it a pretty poor experience. I just don't love this soap. I know all of you love it, but I think it smells terrible. Maybe not terrible, but I don't like how it smells. It's just okay. Foam's okay. Not that foam really matters, but I like foam. Let's fill up our wash bucket. This quick disconnect is freaking awesome. So this soap isn't quite as pH friendly for washing in really sunny conditions, but it's probably like 70 degrees right now. It's like 10 in the morning, so the sun is not like super intense. So I think I can get through this without any issue. We'll just wash this side first, this shady side. And kind of work my way around. So I listed the G80 for sale. I've decided. And here's the main thing. A couple of things. One, I just mentioned earlier, like I don't do giveaway cars for the giveaway. I do giveaway cars for me. And then if I decide I don't want to keep it, it's a way for me to exit overspending and overdoing and making a car too good, spending too much money on it. And it's a way to create buzz and whatever, sell some products and maybe gain some following and that kind of thing. Promote, if you will. But I bought the G80. I know this logic is fuzzy, but all my logic is pretty fuzzy. I bought it. I really love the new BMW purchase experience. It's so much fun to like build it and spec it and wait for it and take delivery of it and then modify. Unlike a Porsche, BMWs are highly modifiable and fun, simple bolt-on modifications. And Porsche, there's just not very much to do. And so I love that whole like getting it set up experience. It's just so much fun to me. Waiting for UPS to come, unboxing new parts, paint correcting it, doing all the stuff, getting it set up to the way I would like it. I just wanted to experience that. And I was hoping that the now very digital BMW experience or the experience the car gives you, I was hoping that I wasn't expecting to fall in love with the car, but to really enjoy it so much that, I'd overlook a lot of the things I don't like about it. Because there's no other way to experience that. You have to buy a new car. You have to buy what exists. And I thought, well, having it in Helen, being that it's not in my garage every day, I go up there 5, 6, 7 times a year. It'd be a real fun experience to have something different to drive. There's some pros to having a automatic up there, that other people could utilize the car too. That would help me justify the expense of it. And so I got really sidetracked in it's for the house that people were borrowing. But I got the car, I did the whole thing. I drove it a couple of times. I'm like, this is not fun. It's a good car, it's for the right purpose. It really is good. In fact, it is, on the borderline of freaking great. You need a dual purpose family car that rips. It doesn't sound bad anymore. I think it sounds okay. Borderline decent sounding in comparison to previous gen. There's some real pros to the car, but it just wasn't exciting me. And I went through the whole process and it just wasn't right. This doesn't feel right. And all I could think about is if I'm in the mountains, driving down Richard B. Russell or Wolfpen Gap, I would be wishing I was in a Porsche. Just wishing I was in it. Wishing I had a manual. And so, when I think about it, if I'm carrying a car, it's at the house, forget the profitability of it, which is not the way I think about most things, really anything. The profitability of things is a coincidence for me. It's probably not the right way to live, but I just want something that I really love, that I really want. It doesn't have to be a love affair like it would be with a 997 GT3 RS, but it has to be more than, oh shoot, I'm gonna do the front bumper. It has to be more than what I was getting from the car. So I was sitting here and I'm like, well, if I'm gonna sell it, I shouldn't really drive it. And then I kind of loosely sold it a couple of times, but really guys were just buying it because it was a good deal. You know, people who understand the work that goes into getting a car set up. Not to mention most people aren't going to be able to get it set up the way I get it set up because they're not cursed as I am. So there's just a small subset of people, you know, to a car dealer, certainly no value in that. But to a certain subset of people, busy professionals that like what I do, that like to have a similar style, it only takes one person to want the car. I'm not trying to get over on anyone, I'm trying to mark it up. No matter which way you look at it, I'm still gonna lose money in the deal. So, I felt pretty good about listing it for what I paid for it. So I made the decision, and what I really want is a, you know, I really want a 16 GT3 RS for up there, but it's just not in the cards for me right now. It's too much money to be able to put that much cash up for a car that I'm going to drive 10 times a year. So I think I can swing the idea of, you know, if like 10 or 12 people rented the car when they're up there, to have a $100,000 car is doable. Not practical, but doable. Having a $200,000 car just puts it out of reach for me at the moment. Maybe someday, but right now, out of reach. What do you think about it legit logically? Let's say I have a loan. Let's say that the payment's $2,000 a month. It's not that much, but let's say it's $2,000 a month. And let's say I rented it once a month for 1,500 bucks. You know, cost me 10 grand a year to have the car there. I think that's practical versus $40,000 a year to have a car there. You know, the people that go there and borrow the house sort of share in the expense of it with me. And I think there's an equal exchange there. So what I'm gonna get is a Spider, a 718 Spider. Which to me, you know, they came in the Spider. Again, I'd rather have a GT3 there. Even a 991, like a 2014 GT3s are selling for $160, and I don't think those cars are worth that much. You know, that's ultimately what I would probably get right now if they were in the low 100s. So to spend $100K on a car is kind of my price point. And so I was looking a lot at like a 718 GTS 4.0 or like an older Cayman, and there's just like none of them. I don't want the 4-cylinder. That would be a horrible disaster for me. I would hate that. So I found a 718 Spider that, well, actually he found me, but we're going to I think we're going to do a swap. Rust inhibitor. We'll pull this in and blow it off. This is Hyde's. And then I don't want a frickin' automatic, so I'm getting a manual. So going back to the concept of, you know, do what it is I love, and man, I just can't can't imagine, especially if you've never really experienced. I think most people that go and rent a $6,000 a week house probably have experienced a bunch of cars, but if you haven't experienced a Spider, I've driven one once, it's a pretty incredible experience. All right, let's pull this in, get it out of the sun, blow it off. So that's what I'm doing. So I'm gonna make the decision today, and then I'm gonna do a swap. I like the shift knob. I'm telling you, this car sounds good. I like how it delivers power. It's got a, it's much torquier, if that's a word, than most BMWs. I keep forgetting my stubby at the garage.
Why'd you have to blow dry it?
I was blowing off my car, I just washed it. All right, let's keep drying here. A little bit of drying aid. I can't wait for my cabinets to get here to get my house in order. I'm starting to feel pretty comfortable at this garage. It's been a unique experience for me. You know, this house was supposed to be a temporary thing. I really like it. I'm so glad we did this drying aid without any scent. And I had some of the old pink stuff left over not too long ago. And it like ruined the bottle, it ruined the tube, it ruined the sprayer. It just messes everything up. Some dyes and some scents are fine, some are not. Like in the tire dressing, it doesn't appear to mess anything up. I don't see them. So yeah, I think my car situation is going to look like E92, 997 RS. You know, I'm doing a giveaway on this one that hopefully funds the purchase of maybe the combination. I'm hoping the combination of this car giveaway and the giveaway of the, you know, the gray black that we're building will create enough significant revenue and profitable revenue for me to get a really nice example of a 997 RS. So theoretically it would look like this. I have my E92 M3, I have my Brewster Touring. I have those two here. I'll have the 997 RS. So I have 3 cars here and then 1 car up in Helen. And then periodically do something giveaway focused once a year where I do something fun to experience and do, like, you know, do a raffle on. I don't intend to do raffles. Like, raffles are not part of my long-term business plan. No. No. I don't know. Go find them. But yeah, having this garage together, it's going to be freaking cool. Like I was saying, I really like this house. I think I'm going to continue to chase, you know, figuring things out, like learning about Hafele. I've learned about closets. I've learned about lighting. Learned a lot about lighting. The Lutron stuff is really awesome. And then I'm going to slow down a little bit on my product ascent, so that way we can get ourselves set up to really support all the new products that we've support with videos and photos and content and information on some of the new stuff that I really haven't spent as much time and attention on as I have as I developed, like the microfiber towel line and stuff like that. And then go back and revisit a lot of things that I feel like need to be improved upon. So that's what this year is going to look like largely for us. I think our hiring will slow, or has slowed, and we will continue to chase efficiency to make the hiring that we've done catch up to the expense of it, and then create, efficiency in the, roughly 30 people that we have, getting them all moving toward a similar goal. And so that's where strategic planning has come in to play. And I think that's our pathway forward, is to set ourselves up for a lot of products that I'm going to develop, because we've kind of reached the ceiling of what's available on in most areas. One of the first times I met Adam Patali, Adam from Adam's Polishes, he said, which really resonated with me, build a product line off the back of products that already exist and then make your own. In his case, that was with detailing products. For me, detailing is like 20% of what we do. There's a whole myriad of products and product categories that I intend to pursue. Cabinet line, deionization, my own pressure washer, pressure washers, etc. It's not 70 degrees, it's almost 80 degrees. I'm starting to sweat. It's 76 degrees, something like that. That's why I love Florida in the winter. But I do think, I've done this chase the last 5 or 6 years of various cars like Corvettes and Mustangs and lots of BMWs, and experience all of the BMWs that I have had an interest in. And I think it's come down to the recognition on what it is I really like, the learning process. The car that does interest me a lot is the new Lotus. I just wonder if the jank of Lotus will be a little too much for me. We'll see. We'll try it. So with this house, I think I say this. As soon as I say this, I'll be telling you, and we're moving. But for right now, I feel pretty good with it. This drying aid is so good. Yep. Yeah, you're making annoying sounds and I'm trying to make a video. Man, what a great experience of washing dialed in cars. Yeah, so here's the conundrum. I don't have to make a decision, but I'm going to make a decision today. So the Spider is a follower. We've designed his garage, and he just bought it, but he's selling it for the practicality. He's going to sell, I think, both of his cars and go down to one. And that's where I think the G80 M3 can make a lot of sense. If you're a professional, a grown-up, having an older BMW, like, people say, well, just get an E90. No, I wouldn't want to drive an older BMW, high mileage, drive it every day. So, and if the grill doesn't bother you, which, doesn't bother most people, it's not so much the grill, it's just the design in general that it doesn't work with me. I don't like it. But if it works for you, the car's a good car. That's why I bought it. I'm just having a hard time getting over some of the details of it, being as I'm a detail guy. Details are what motivate me. And so some of those finer details of it, I don't like. And it's not the right car for the application. So, but anyway, so the Spyders are selling generally somewhere around 130 to 150. So now we're outside of my sort of mental budget, if you will. And I want a car with carbon ceramics, 100%. I don't want a car with steel. So I want carbon ceramics, I want sport buckets. I would like to have Burmester. I mean, I can always do aftermarket if I care that much. Now, granted, it's gonna be in the mountains, so most of the time, top down, no music on, just ripping around, listening to the engine. And I'd love to have the Spyder over the GTS, even though they're very similar. And so he has so the negatives are, his has 14,000 miles on it, which then makes the car pretty much, I think, a fair swap. So his is worth, 120s. My M3 is really worth, 120s with all the stuff on it. He values all the stuff that I've done and would do something similar. So I think what we're gonna do is swap it, but I'm gonna have to eat some crow here because the car is Miami blue. So it's baby blue, and you know how much trash I've talked about baby blue over the years. But, I frickin' do what I want. So I want a white one, but the circumstances are pretty good in that it's a car with more miles on it than I would normally want. But then that gets me in the price ballpark, and then in my fuzzy logic, this is telling me that that would help me enjoy the ownership experience a little bit more and be more willing to let other people use it. But remember, when you guys say this, I know this is hard to comprehend. You say, well, Matt, it's just a rental. It's just going to the Helen House. Or Matt, it's just a giveaway. There's no such thing as that. That doesn't exist for me. There's no just a giveaway car. There's my car that I'm setting up that I'm gonna do a raffle or a giveaway on. And I may change my mind, like on this car, I may change my mind at any moment. Like, I may decide to keep it. And so I'm putting these things together as at the level of what I'm willing to accept. Like, for example, on the driver's side door, there's a little blemish there, like a little start of clear coat failure. But I wouldn't repaint it. And so I'm not going to repaint it. So you have to draw the line somewhere on any car. So I'm drawing that line at my line, I don't have a different line. What I'm getting at is I don't have a different line for a giveaway versus I'm keeping it for myself. It's the same line. And I think that's where the value comes in. So at the house, I did make some concessions with the M3, and I think that's probably where I went wrong. Now, if I'd gotten a manual M3, that wouldn't solve it. The manual's the same freaking car. It's not any better. It's probably worse. So the manual wouldn't have been a saving grace on it. I can tell you that confidently. after, you know, I drove both. I had Sean's for a week and a half up here. His is a manual. So the concept of, well, Matt, it's just a rental. Or, well, what are we going to do about, you know, well, what am I going to do when I go up there? And, you know, I was planning on driving the family around. Well, tough luck. That's not what the car is there for. So if that means you're not going to go to the house, then so be it. But my car is not there for people to go hiking and fishing and driving around with muddy feet. The car is there to go enjoy the mountains a few times and, you know, drive a few hundred miles in a car set up the way that I like it, so you can kind of experience that. And you can say, you know, not as good as I like the car, or, you know, so it's about an experience. Basically, you get to insert yourself into my life if you care about that. Not like I don't have like a suggestion box. That's not the point. We don't need suggestions. It's not about concierge service. It's about, you know, those of you who have, you know, experienced, you know, buying stuff from me, or, you know, have a business similar, you understand this. It's not about entitlement. It's not about that. It's about, you know, I'd like to go to the mountains. It'd be cool if there was a car there that I could experience, where I could choose to pay, you know, a few extra bucks and drive it around, but not turn it into we have 6 guys there and we're going to turn it into let's see how much we can beat this thing. That's not what I'm interested in. You should be, because this is what I do, you should be renting a car, driving that car to the grocery store. You know, when you're loading up the 6 people that you have there, you should be driving the rental to go fishing, and you should be like, get up, I'm going to wake up early, I'm going to go do Richard B. Russell Wolfpen Gap, and I'm going to take what was going to be the M3, now will be the Boxer Spider. I'm going to take that out and do that specifically. Not, I got to get my money's worth. I'm not looking for people like that to be going to the house or renting the car. And I know some of you are like, oh, I just don't get that. Well, it's not for you anyway. Those of you that are nodding your head, oh yeah, I get that. That's the same way I would do it. Those are the people that are going to do this. We can only have like 40 people a year go to this place. So I have the ability to make it very specific because of that. And the M3 just wasn't right. It just didn't feel right. I made too many concessions. And so I'm able to, you know, make mistakes like this and give it a shot. And change up the plan. That's the beauty. So that's what I'm doing. Man, this thing looks good. Again, not perfect, but a very good car. So let's go. Put some drying aid on the wheels. We'll dress the tires. The interior is clean. So the vacuum systems we should have soon. The press-all warranty and press-all pursuit is about to begin. So we're about to begin that process. I'm not sure where Canada fits. Instead of me guessing on Canada, we're going to we're making decisions on the practical pursuit. What's next? So what are the next 10 steps? And then doing that with some calculations rather than me just guessing. So that's coming. That's what we're working on over the next month. And then I'll make a decision on when and exactly with what and what's the time frame on our Canadian operations. And so I think the smart thing to do, instead of finding some investors to help me finance the cash flow of it, I think the smarter thing for me to do is to launch. I have some products that will be launching that have not a significant amount of revenue needed, or not a significant amount of capital investment needed to launch, but will generate lots of revenue, lots of profit. And then I could self-finance it like I've been doing. But that's going to require some serious focus and some planning and some execution. And that's going to require me to slow my roll a little bit on new, because my whole pursuit has been to create the end-to-end solution. And so, like, for example, lighting is a huge opportunity to really capture a lot of revenue from the lighting solutions that I've been pursuing. Like the lights that are in this garage, and then the lighting control that's in this garage is exactly what I've been hoping for. It just took quite a long time to get to it, to figure out what it is. And now it's not that I'm slacking, it's just that I'm running my team too hard on all kinds of new product chases, and then we never really complete the whole lighting project and really focus in on negotiating with the suppliers to make sure they have it, we have it stocked, or we can appropriately drop ship it. So stuff like that will help fund future projects. Okay. Let's dress the tires and we'll wrap her up. What do you think, Chase? It's a pretty looking car. It's been a lot of work. I really do need to take this to get it aligned, though, because it is aligned, or was aligned, but then we flipped the camber plates on the front, the top hat's on the front. So it drives nice and straight, but the toe is probably off. So I'm gonna work on, I really like to get back to at least once a week doing a wash and talk with you. I find that I've tried to I may wash the E92 here as well, but when I try to do two in a row, I run out of stuff to talk about, and it's not as good. But I feel like every week I've got enough cockamamie schemes going on that I can very easily do once a week. And I'd really like to do get moving on the darn wash and drive series, especially since this garage will be done, to go out right out my front door here, do a quicker wash. So wash and talk would be more of me just sharing what's going on that so many of you seem to enjoy, as we just do like a garage hang, but the wash and drive would be more of the sort of combination of when we wash it, try some different products, and then go out and do a quick rip, and then try a bunch of different cars, and I'll give you my take on these various cars, have people bring them. It'll be a really, really fun experience for me and them, and get somebody to come up once a week. And I think maybe I need to stop worrying about the production value of that, and let's just do it. The reason why we keep postponing it is because we'd planned on doing it like really highly produced. But screw, what am I doing? Why don't I just set the GoPros up and set the camera up like I'm doing now, and I think I might start that this week. So E36 is clean. We'll theoretically see you next week. Maybe. Thanks for watching. As always, stay tuned for more crazy. See you soon.